Welcome back to the Ruched YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this elegant bubu dress that we see here. It has a ruche effect. It is also fitted at the waistline. It has an inner belt which makes it fitted. You can rock it as a fitted bubu or a free bubu, whichever one you wish to work with. Mine stops at the it's like a 3/4 length, but you can also make it into a full length if that is what you want. I'll take you through how to cut and sew this easily in this class. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. To make this, my fabric is folded into 4. You can see I folded it here. So I have 2.5 yards of fabric, by the way. Mine is not going to be to the floor length, so the length is going to be around 45 inches. That's 2.5 yards. So if you want yours to be floor length, you can work with 3 yards or 3.5 yards. So I have my fabric folded into 2 first, like this. Then after folding into 2, I'm going to fold again into 4, which is what I have here. You can see fold points here. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark 1 inch here. Oh, that's 1 inch I'm marking is going to be my folding allowance. So here from the shoulder, from the starting point here, I'm going to mark 1 inch all around, and I'm going to make that into a straight line. So the allowance is marked now, and you can see that. So now I will start taking my measurements from here. So the first measurement I'm going to take is going to be the neckline. Okay, it's like an half drop shoulder neckline, so I'm going to make it a little bit wide. But if you don't want yours to be dropping on your shoulder, you can as well just work with maybe 5 to 6 inches. But for me, from here I'm going to mark 7 inches as my neckline. Okay, so this is going to be my neckline. It does not have a neck depth, it only has a neck width. So you are just going to turn it out straight. That was why I measured this 1 inch for the turning. So after marking your neck width, the next measurement you are going to take is your center back, the center of your back plus your sleeve, where you want the sleeve to stop. So you can just take your across back measurement. Across back for me is 7.5, which is here. So let me say 8 inches. Then from there you can mark your sleeve length measurement. So whatever sleeve length you wish to work with, that's what you're going to mark. I have 20.5 inches here on my fabric, so that is what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to shift the fabric like this so that you can see what I'm doing well. So here is my sleeve length. This is where my sleeve length stops. So on that point where my sleeve length stops, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches for my shoulder slant. Okay, so from here now I'm going to create a diagonal line all the way to my neck point here to form my shoulder slope, just like we do for our regular kimono. So from here I'm going to connect like this. Then I'm going to shift it again so that I can connect all the way to the neck point. Remember, this is the neck point. So from there I'm going to connect to the neck point. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to create allowance for, remember the 1 inch that I came here for the neckline. I'm going to do the same thing for the shoulder so that I can turn it in as well. So from where you made your shoulder slope, which is here, you're going to come up by 1 inch for that allowance. So from here now I'm going to mark 1 inch up all round, and then I'm going to reconnect that to my neck point. So you still see what we are going to do with that. So now this new line that we are going to mark is going to be the allowance for turning it in so that we can turn it neatly. We are going to mark that all the way to the neck point as well. So this is the neck point. I'm marking that all the way to this point. Okay, this is my neck point here. So now the neckline is taken care of. This has a fitted waistline which is controlled with a belt. Okay, so now the allowance is done. The next thing is to create our inner belt. So the belt is going to be on my waist. So I'm going to mark from my shoulder point all the way to my half length. Okay, So my arm's length in this case is 15 and a half. So I'm going to mark 15 and a half, and then I'm going to make that into a straight line. So from your center front here, you are going to mark quarter of your waist measurement. The round waist is 34 divided by 4. The round waist is 36, sorry, divided by 4 is 9 inches. So here I'm going to mark 9 inches. So that is where my inner belt is going to be, 9 inches. Okay, so it also has a ruche effect. So for the ruche effect, I'm going to come in from where my waist measurement stop. I'm going to come in by 2 to 2.5 inches. Okay, and that is where I'm going to create my inner waist. So for my ruche effect, sorry, so for that, it's going to start from the hem line. So this measurement that you have here, you are going to take it all the way to your hem line. So I'm going to measure what I have from my center front, and that is 6.5. So I'm going to mark that 6.5 all the way to the hem. So you can see I'm marking it, and then I'll connect it to the hem of the dress, 6.5. So that point is where you're going to create your ruche effect. So the next thing I'm going to do on this waistline here, remember the belt has to be two for you to be able to tie them together. So we have just on one side of the front. So to have my belt on the other side, I'm just going to put a pin across so that when I flip it, I will know where to mark on. So that's my pin. I'm just going to flip like this, and then I can clearly see where the pin is once I flip. Okay, so once you flip, you can see where your pin is. So we'll just make a mark there to note where the belt is going to be on the other side. So after doing that, now we are going to create our sleeve opening. So now on this outer part, the sleeve, for me, you can see the measurements I'm working with is a long sleeve. So the sleeve opening is going to be on my wrist. So you can measure around your wrist, and then you leave some allowance. So you can see how loosely I'm measuring this. So this is around 12 inches. If you divide that by 2, you're going to have 6 inches. So from here, not from the allowance, from your actual measurement, you are going to mark the 6 inches downwards like this. You can add half an inch allowance for joining. And then once you mark it here, you're going to come in by 1.5 or 2 inches, and then you're going to connect like this in a curved way like this, and take that all the way to the hem as well. So I'm just connecting what I have there all the way to the hem of my dress. So with this, you're done with drafting. You just go ahead and cut. So I'm done cutting it now. You can see the side, and then you can see our sleeve opening here. I've already cut out the slant as well. So this is the 1 inch allowance that we created. So like I said, there is no neck depth here, and this neckline part is still on fold. So I'll just simply open it out like this, and then insert my scissors, and then cut it all around. Okay, so I'm just cutting it straight by just separating the front and back because there's no neck depth. I hope you understand what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so now we are done with the cutting. So everything we are doing, majority of what we are doing to the front. So I'm just going to set the back aside while I work on the front. So this is my front. This is the ruche that I'm creating. This is where I'm going to put my inner belt, and this is the other side where I'm putting the inner belt. So I'm going to go ahead now and then create the fabric for the belt, and the fabric that I'm going to use to create channel for the rope. So these are my belts. I have two belts already, so I'm going to take it to the sewing machine now, and then I'm going to join the belt. So I'm just holding in the rough edge. So here you're going to sew the belt on those marks that we created. Remember, we have two marks, so this is the second mark here. I'm going to place the belt there as well, so that when I wear the dress, I can tighten the waistline with my belt. So for the ruche part as well, you're going to cut a long strip of fabric, and then you're going to use it to create casing for your ruche. So you're going to place it like this, you fold it in like this, then you fold like this as well. So you are going to sew on the two sides, then after sewing on the two sides, you are going to divide it so that you have two channels for your rope. So this line here, remember we got this by just coming inwards by 2.5 inches here. You can also measure your bust span from the center. This is our center, so if you don't want it on the side, you can measure your bust span measurement, and that is where you are going to place it. So it's totally up to you. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now, and then I'm going to create the channel by folding twice like this, and then fold inwards. Then here I'm going to fix my belt as well. Before I forget, because we are going to be creating a ruche effect here, you need to fold in the hem of this dress first before you place this ruche, so that it can come out. If you sew your channel and then you close it up together with the channel, you not have a space to bring out the ropes for the ruche effect. So before I completely sewed my ruche up to the hem, I'm going to turn the hem first. So I've gone ahead to attach the belt. You can see the belt, and then also I created the channels, so you can see. So you fold this on the two sides, and then you run a stitch so that I can have two channels. So this is the first one and this is the second one. So for my channels, I have made ropes for it, so I'm going to use this safety pin to pass the ropes into the channel. I have two ropes for each of the channel. So you just pass it up to here, and when you get to here, you lock it with a stitch so that it does not remove. So you just bring it now from any end, from the upper part or the lower part, and then you go ahead and pass your rope to it. It is that simple. Once you pass it and you get to the upper part, you are going to hold it with a stitch so that you can drag it as much as you want. So I'll go ahead and do this now, and then I'm going to bring it back to show us. So you can see I've gotten to the end. Just want us to see what I'm doing. So once you get to the end here, you're going to drag it to the tip, and then you lock it here with a stitch. So I'm going to do the same thing for the second side as well. So I've gone to do that now. I've locked the stitch, so with that you can ruche this to any level that you want. So now we are done with everything we want to do to the front. The next thing is to sew the front and back together. So you make sure that where your neckline starts, which is here, you're going to notch it. So I'm folding now so that I can notch it, because that is where you're going to start to sew. So once you fold it, you can even see it because of the slant that we created, because of the shoulder slants that we have there. I'm just going to go ahead and notch. So once you notch it, you're going to lay your front and back on each other like this, and then you're going to sew with the 1 inch allowance that we left. Remember, we created 1 inch allowance. So I'm going to lay them on each other, and then I'm going to run a stitch with the 1 inch seam allowance. So you are going to stop stitching when you get to your neckline where you notched. That's when you stop stitching. So you can just put pins there so that you know you're not going to stitch beyond that point. So this is the first neckline here. You can see that I'm going to place a pin there to know that I'm going to stop sewing there. Then you go over and look for the second notch that you created. So once you see the second notch, you are going to go ahead and place another pin there. So when you are sewing, you make sure to sew from your sleeve, which is here, 1 inch. You sew and then you stop where you have your neckline, you skip the neckline, and you start sewing from here again all the way to the other end. So I'm done sewing it. I'm just going to detach the pins now, and this is what you are going to have when you open it out. The shoulders are joined together. You just have your neckline part opened. So I joined this by 1.5 1 inch, sorry, 1 inch allowance that I left. So what I'm going to do now is to just fold the 1 inch like this. Okay, so I'm going to fold it. So you can either sew it or you use hemming gum, but I don't want to have a seam there. So you're going to weave this part, or you turn it in first, and then you bring your hemming gum like this. you place it in between, and then you iron it down like this, so that way your neckline is turned and then your shoulder seam will relax as well. So I'll go ahead now and iron this down and bring it back for us to see what it looks like. Okay, so you can see now that I have gone ahead to hem it. You can see what the neckline is looking like. This is the wrong side, so I use my hemming gum to pin it down. So this is the neckline. You can see how clean it is on the neckline area. So the last thing to do now is to go ahead and fold the hem of your sleeve. You are going to fold it twice. Then after folding the hem of the sleeve, you are going to go ahead and stitch the side. Okay, I have already hemmed the lower part just like I explained, because I want my ruche to get to the hem. Assuming your ruche is not getting to the hem, maybe if you're stopping here, you may hem it together later. But I want mine to get to the hem. That was why I hemmed this first. So the hemline is taken care of. I just need to hem the sleeve like this, and then you put your front and back together, and then you join the side. So that is all you need to do. I'll do this now, and then we'll take it to the mannequin to see what it looks like. So once you sew it, once you hem the sleeve, you're going to join it on the side, and this is what you will have. So you can wear it fitted, or you can just release the ruche and release the inner belt to have a free bubu like this. If you want it to be fitted, you just bring out the two ropes that we created, and then you tie it at the back in form of a belt, and then you drag the ruche that we have there to have this effect that you have. You can see how beautiful it is and how simple it is to make. It can also be styled as an off shoulder. Just need to increase the width of the neckline you are working with. I hope you enjoy making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed this, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.